Welcome to Canadian Justice. I'm Christine Van Gyn, and today we're talking about censorship. We often think of the dangers of censorship coming from our federal or provincial governments, but it's in fact often at the local level that these threats can be greatest. We've recently seen a rise in local towns, regions, municipalities enacting bylaws that restrict all kinds of speech in the name of various noble causes: anti-bullying, anti-harassment, civility, even limiting pollution, and all kinds of other reasons. But are these bylaws going too far? Today, we're going to be joined by two lawyers who think that they are, and they are taking one municipality to court over it. Kristopher Kinsinger is a Guelph-based lawyer with SV Law, and Josh Dehass is a lawyer with the Canadian Constitution Foundation, the same charity that I work for, and they've brought a lawsuit against the region of Waterloo for their recent anti-bullying and anti-harassment bylaw. Josh, Kristopher, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. Chris, why don't we start with you? Can you tell me what this Waterloo bylaw actually does?
Absolutely, Christine, and always happy to come back on the show to talk about some of these kinds of issues. So just to clarify for your viewers, what this amendment was to the existing Waterloo Region Code of Use bylaw. And the CCF does not take issue with the general existence of the Code of Use bylaw. Most municipalities have bylaws like this, and what their general purpose is to prohibit things like loitering or vandalism or smoking on trains or buses or that kind of thing. These are all things that fall within valid municipal purposes. But what the region of Waterloo has done late last year is it passed an amendment to this Code of Use bylaw to also prohibit harassment on regional premises. And the problems that we see are when we look at what the definition of harassment is in the amended bylaw, which is defined as an experiencing of objectionable or unwelcome conduct. And that can include comments or bullying, or more to the point, actions that could reasonably cause offense or humiliation. So this is obviously very broad language, very subjective language. And so the CCA takes issue on this on numerous points. The most obvious one being that this is an unreasonable limitation on freedom of expression as it has been guaranteed by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But also more fundamentally, Christine, there is a concern here that this bylaw, or rather the amendment to the existing bylaw, does not fall within a valid municipal purpose and therefore falls outside of the scope of the authority that the provincial legislature has delegated to the municipality.
Yeah, we'll get into that argument in a little bit, but first I want to talk about why this bylaw was brought into force. And I know it was a result specifically from the advocacy from certain activists in Waterloo who were concerned with Islamophobia. And I know that these are real concerns. But Josh, why do you think that this bylaw is the wrong solution to a problem like that?
Yeah, so this bylaw was recommended by Muslim advocacy groups after a number of disturbing incidents where Muslim women who wear hijabs were harassed or in some cases even assaulted in certain parts of Canada. And one of the recommendations that they came forward was a bylaw to target street harassment. But this didn't really make a lot of sense because if you think about what was happening, those are already crimes. It's already a crime as it should be to accost someone. And if
Like
you
to
know,
physically assault someone, it's criminal.
if you assault someone, it's a crime, right? And if you do that to someone who's wearing hijab, it might be a hate motivated crime, in which case you would already get a more extreme sentence. So it's not really clear how this bylaw, which targets unwelcome or offensive constitutionally protected speech, would actually address that issue when the real problem is that some of these criminal laws that we already have aren't being enforced enough. And it's a big problem too because it chills freedom of expression. We know from the council meeting where this was passed that there were Muslim members of the community who protest on various issues, and they themselves were concerned that with this new bylaw, where bylaw officers can ticket you because you make somebody else feel unwelcome or say something someone subjectively finds offensive, that they will no longer be able to go out and exercise their free speech.
Now, Josh, just to be clear, this bylaw applies on certain parts of city property, right? It wouldn't just apply walking down the sidewalk?
So no, it would apply on regional property, but that includes a lot of spaces. It includes the regional headquarters where they
Hmm.
meet and certain parks. It would apply on transit
Hmm.
buses. So it's a pretty wide swath of property.
Right. Yeah. Pretty concerning. We've got to go to commercial break, but we will be right back.